Addy soldiers. I'm debating growing up my bangs, so we just clipped them aside. And mark my words, there will be no banging in today's video. I'm also wearing a collared shirt because, you know, now I'm 24 and I feel like I should be, like, looking like an adult, so, like, is this right? Like, am I doing it right? I did a sequels video like 2 years ago, and because I've upped my editing game, I can just pop that in a little card right there. You can go check that out after the video. And you know what? It was a long time ago. There's a new set that came out. I want to talk about more things. So today's video is my favorite sequels, part 2. The sequel. My favorite sequels, Too Fast 2 sequel. My favorite sequels, Catching sequel. My favorite sequels, A Court to Mist and sequel. So the sequel that inspired this whole thing was actually one that I've already freaked out about in, maybe it was a video ago. It was something. But you know what? I can't stop talking about it because there's so much that happened. I have so many feelings, and that is the post-apocalyptica, Mad Max-inspired weirdness that was Lifelike, which is deviant to the sequel by J. Kristoff. Lifelike was just so fast-paced and gritty, and you could not sit down. You couldn't. The characters would sit down and like 2 seconds later something would happen again, and I think I finished that book at 2 a.m. because I couldn't put it down. Like, J. Kristoff, you're giving me a heart attack. Like, just slow down, man. And I love this sequel so much because Lemon Fresh is one of my favorite characters, and she's just, oh, she's so cool and badass, and she knows her stuff, and even if she doesn't, you're like, it's okay, Lemon, you can make mistakes. And yeah, she makes some mistakes in here, and I don't really know how we're gonna fix that, but so many new things are introduced, and I love that the people that we think are good are bad, the people that we think are bad are good, or sort of, and some of them are just morally gray, and some of them are just whose side are they on? They're on their side. I wish we got a little bit more of the Lifelike family, because we only saw from them a little bit in this book, but I feel like that's gonna be something that he blows up in book 3. Maybe, actually, literally, I have no idea what's going on in this man's head. So if you really liked Lifelike, and you feel like you want to be emotionally compromised again by some biomass and, you know, robotics, then I'd pick up this book, because this book was mad fizzy, true cert. Next up is a sequel that I really didn't think I was going to like, honestly, and I loved it. Oh man, Marie Lu. I'm back on board with you and your whole thing, because Wildcard was a wild card. Oh, but comedy. I had so much fun with the sequel. I thought that Warcross was good. It wasn't like amazing, but I was like, yeah, sure, fine, good enough for the sequel. Got the advanced copy, which is like, yeah, guess we'll just thumb through it one day. I'm bored. And then suddenly it was done. The reason this was so good is because she went for it. There was multiple things that I was like, well, that'd be really cool, and like that would probably happen in real life, but, or maybe it wouldn't happen in real life, but I don't think she's gonna go there, and she went there, and I was so happy because, oh, it just made everything so much more emotionally devastating, which is apparently what I just like to look for in books. Get this atypical takedown of the villain, and then this whole running around trying to win the game is getting real intense, and then the very end to this duology was so weird and, like, emotionally compromising, and I'm just like, oh my god, whoa, oh, like, it really, like, makes you think about your humanity. So if you're in the mood for that, would recommend. Like, really surprised me. I'm back on board Marie Lu's hoverboard. What's, like, the virtual reality thing. I'm back into Warcross. Like, you did it, Marie Lu. I'm back on board. I'm in the game. The third sequel is the one that I probably had the most fun reading, honestly. I was so happy that this turned out to be a good book, and that is the amazing Lady's Guide to Petticoats and Piracy by Mackenzie Lee. You know, Gentleman's Guide to Vice and Virtue I thought was good. It got a little weird at the end because we got some, like, paranormal stuff put in there that I was not expecting, but I think knowing that made this so much better. Felicity is like 14, 15, I think, in this, and she is just a badass lady. She's trying to be a doctor over here. She is pushing for feminine rights, and she's just going off here adventuring because she doesn't want to be married off like a piece of property, and like, you go, girl. I am so proud of you. And she's also Arrow, or Ace, which I think is a great representation, and I love the whole fact that, like, it's not about her falling in love with somebody, because that's the majority of, like, teen books surrounding a female character. So we got this mature, educated, badass female adventurer, and she's just going off to avoid the patriarchy, and she is okay with her brother not being part of society, and she's okay not being part of society, and she just falls in love with herself instead of another guy, and she just goes on this cool adventure, and there's sea serpents. It was great. Book number 4 is a real fun sequel that for some reason took place underwater for the majority of the book, which, like, I wasn't mad at, but it was like Aquaman meets fairy lore, but Jason Momoa's not there. Instead, we get this creepy homicidal fairy prince, but, like, you know, you take some, you lose some, and that was Wicked King by Haldy Black. This was the sequel that had me so angry I have not been that dumbstruck by a plot twist in a very long time, which is saying something. After Cruel Prince, we go back into fairyland, which I love because I love creepy fairies. Everyone freaking knows because I basically shout it from the rooftops in every video. I felt like in Cruel Prince you could kind of see some things coming, and in this book I could never tell what was real and what was not and what was being set up, and I loved that about it because that is what fairy courts or lore are. You can never really tell what is true or not, and the ending made me flip the freak out. Cannot wait for Queen of Nothing. I want it so badly. So if you also want to, you know, be in the loop, Wicked King is the way to go. So good. And lastly is a book that I feel a little bit bad for talking about because it's not out yet. It comes out in September, but you're going to want it. I'm very impressed. And I got a beautiful advanced copy, thank you Raincoast, of Only Ashes Remain by Rebecca Schaeffer. In case you don't know, Not Even Bones was one of my favorite books of last year. It was so creepy, it was so dark, and it's about a girl who dissects paranormal creatures and sells their organs on the black market. And if that's not a career path that I want to go down, I don't know what is. There is no redeeming characters in here. Like, this is not like a fun romp where, oh man, but the person that was evil is like actually good all along. Like, no, they're just awful. But it also had all of these betrayals and double crosses, and this did a really good job of doing the thing where paranormal creatures are like entering into a real world scenario, like what would actually happen with like police and, you know, phones and people recording stuff and Twitter and like whatever, which is something that you don't really see a lot even in these urban paranormal books. Thought that that was pulled off really well. I'm so impressed with Rebecca Schaeffer's writing because it can take you to such a dark place that you are so immersed in the story that you don't know if you're a good person or not. It just got better by being worse. So if you really liked Not Even Bones and you want to be morally ambiguous again, this is the one to do so with. It does come out in September on the 3rd. Ooh, right on September 3rd. You can pick this up right away. So there were some more of my favorite sequels. Please leave down below what your favorite sequels are because there are an awful lot of them. There were some that I didn't add to this list because these ones were just the most exciting. Over the last year or so, I've really had more control, self-control over my book buying practices. Like, I've said this in multiple videos that when I was younger, I felt like I needed to have the whole series on my shelf. Even if I didn't really like the series, like I still needed to collect the whole series. But now, because there's just such an oversaturation in the market, I can pick and choose what books that I actually want to keep and which ones I want to buy. So a lot of these I bought because I truly enjoyed the first one and I want to know more of the story, instead of just feeling like I had to because there were limited series and it felt weird just having the first one. Now I'm like, whatever, I just want the first one, it's fine. You know where to click to like the video, you know where to click to subscribe. I hope you guys are all having a nice day wherever you are, and I will see you all next week. Bye!